In maritime trade, who bears the cost of transportation of your goods and when does the risk pass? Today we explain in detail the concept of CFR, cost and freight, a form of delivery where the seller pays the freight, but the risk passes to the buyer. In CFR, the seller loads the goods onto the ship at the port of export and pays the freight until the port of destination. However, the risk passes to the buyer as soon as the goods are loaded on board. This means that although the seller bears the transportation costs, the buyer is responsible for any damage to the goods. CFR applies only to maritime and inland waterway transportation. The seller completes export customs clearance, loads the goods onto the ship, and pays the transportation fee. However, insurance is not provided by the seller. It is the buyer's responsibility to take out insurance. The fact that the freight charges are covered by the seller gives the buyer a significant advantage, especially for large volumes of goods. However, the fact that the risk passes at the time of loading requires the buyer to follow this process closely. Let us explain with an example. A company sending textile products from Istanbul to the U.S. makes a deal on CFR New York terms. The company loads the goods on the ship at the port of Istanbul and pays the freight fee. However, any damage or loss while the goods are on board is the responsibility of the buyer in the U.S. Although the buyer is exempt from paying the freight, it should minimize its risk by taking out insurance. While CFR offers advantages to the seller in terms of cost and freight, it is a delivery method that needs to be carefully managed as the buyer bears the risk. In the next video, we will detail CIF, the insurance-inclusive version of CFR. Stay tuned. We learn every step-by-step in foreign trade.